Verstappen is now stuck at Red Bull for 2026 after surprise clause. Hamilton gives interesting feedback on Ferrari's upgrade, and Mercedes is on the back foot after upgrade change. Let's get into the latest F1 news. Helmut Marko has made a significant announcement regarding Max Verstappen's future in Formula One, confirming that he will remain with Red Bull for the 2026 season. This revelation comes amidst swirling rumors about a potential move to Mercedes. Marko, Red Bull's senior advisor, has reassured fans and followers that Verstappen will not be leaving the team, especially with major regulatory changes on the horizon for the next season. He stated, "I can confirm that Max Verstappen will be driving for Red Bull in 2026, putting an end to speculations and confirming that Verstappen is committed to the team." This confirmation follows claims made over the summer, suggesting that Verstappen might utilize an exit clause in his contract to make a switch to Mercedes. These rumors were sparked by comments from George Russell regarding ongoing discussions that were claimed to influence contract negotiations. Despite such chatter, Red Bull's Marko has firmly stated that Verstappen's future lies with them. As the current driver lineup shakes out, both Russell and his rookie teammate at Mercedes, Kimi Antonelli, do not have contracts extending beyond 2025. Hence, with Verstappen's future at Red Bull now secured, speculation continues about what the grid will look like in 2026. While Marko's declaration signals a positive direction for Red Bull, there's a hint that these assurances could be short-lived. With significant shifts expected in the F1 landscape, the potential for future changes remains a topic of interest. Looking ahead to 2026, the F1 regulation changes will usher in new chassis and engine designs, making it a pivotal year for all teams involved. These updates could drastically impact the competitive fabric of the sport, reminiscent of the last major engine overhaul in 2014, which initiated a dominant era for Mercedes. For fans of Formula One, the 2026 season is shaping up to be more than just a typical year on the grid. It's a turning point filled with anticipation and potential surprises. As the world watches what unfolds in the lead-up to this transformative season, the certainty surrounding Verstappen's involvement with Red Bull adds an intriguing layer to the narrative. Stay tuned, as the future of Formula One continues to evolve with every passing race. In a recent interview at the British Grand Prix, team principal Christian Horner addressed the important question of competitiveness for Red Bull and its star driver, Max Verstappen, as the team prepares to enter a new chapter by becoming an engine manufacturer in collaboration with Ford. Horner emphasized that it's impossible for any team or engine manufacturer to guarantee superiority in the highly competitive landscape of Formula One. He pointed out, absolutely no guarantees for any team or any engine manufacturer can, hand on heart, say that they are significantly ahead of any other. This statement highlights the uncertainty surrounding the pecking order as the sport gears up for a major regulatory overhaul in 2026. This upcoming regulation shift, seen as one of the most significant in Formula One history, will impact both chassis and engine designs. Horner remarked, "I think 2026 represents the biggest regulation change with both chassis and engine in probably the last 50 years of Formula One." The unknowns of these changes add to the complexity of maintaining Red Bull's competitive edge. Max Verstappen, considered the best driver in the world, remains a focal point in this transition. Horner acknowledged, "When you think of it objectively, with 2026 approaching, he is going to have all those options. Verstappen's future isn't limited to Red Bull. He'll have opportunities across all teams for the 2027 season, yet his loyalty to Red Bull runs deep." Horner recalls Verstappen's desire to end his career with the team, a sentiment he has expressed repeatedly. "If he sees that potential, then I don't see why that isn't achievable," Horner said. This speaks volumes about both Verstappen's aspirations and Red Bull's commitment to demonstrating their potential. However, Verstappen is also driven by a hunger for victories and titles, which he richly deserves. Horner points out that for Verstappen, the focus may lean more toward the 2027 season rather than the immediate changes of 2026. As fans, we can only speculate what the future holds for one of the sport's brightest stars and his team. Meanwhile, further conversations in the paddock reveal mixed reactions from drivers and teams after the recent Belgian Grand Prix, where Yuki Tsunoda's struggles continued and Verstappen expressed his disappointment over race delays due to rain. This season, combined with the impending changes, makes for an exciting and unpredictable future in Formula One. Stay tuned for more insights as the drama unfolds. Lewis Hamilton is making strides in his surprising new chapter with Ferrari. After an intense outing at the Belgian Grand Prix, fresh details have emerged about his performance, particularly regarding new brake components. Hamilton experimented with Brembo's latest brake discs and pads during the recent race weekend. This was the first time he tried this new setup, which, according to him, played a role in a peculiar spin he experienced during the sprint qualifying at Spa. It's intriguing how a simple component can impact the outcome of a race, especially for a seasoned driver like Hamilton. He faced a tumultuous time in Belgium, characterized by ups and downs. The 40-year-old had a rocky start with 2 qualifying eliminations in under 24 hours, leaving him to start both the sprint race and the main event from less than ideal positions. It wasn't until the main event that Hamilton showed resilience, starting from the pit lane and climbing to 7th place by the end of the race. Analyzing the Belgian Grand Prix reveals a lot of drama. Hamilton's hopes of a strong sprint performance were dashed after he spun out at the bus stop chicane during his last qualifying lap. This was unexpected for him. In his career, he noted it was the first time he had spun after locking up the rear brakes. After qualifying, he pointed to the new component on his car, previously used by teammate Charles Leclerc, as a factor in his slip. This new component is more than just a detail. Hamilton was equipped with a different blend of Brembo brake materials that day. The goal was to create a more responsive feel under braking, but the unfamiliarity of these brakes, along with Ferrari's unique engine braking system, may have contributed to Hamilton's mishap. Following the sprint race, he expressed his thoughts, highlighting that he was trying to adapt to the new component that had been used by Leclerc in prior races. He reflected on Leclerc's crash in Montreal, suggesting that both drivers were grappling with the adjustments to these new brakes. It's no secret that Hamilton has faced challenges adapting to Ferrari's braking systems since he joined the team earlier this year. After his debut in January, it quickly became evident that the brakes were an area of concern for him, given his past experience with a different brake manufacturer during his lengthy tenure at Mercedes. The spotlight on Hamilton's experience serves not just as a tale of adjustment, but also as a reminder of how finely tuned such machinery needs to be for success in Formula One. Each race presents its own set of challenges, making every moment on the track crucial. As Hamilton continues to navigate his Ferrari journey, fans are eager to see how this new component evolves his performance in future races. The Belgian Grand Prix marked a significant event for Ferrari as they debuted their much-anticipated rear suspension upgrade. Following its initial on-track testing at Mugello, the new component aims to address the SF25's ongoing ride height challenges. The hope is that this enhancement will allow Ferrari to adopt more aggressive strategies, positioning them for potential race wins as the second half of the F1 2025 season unfolds. However, during a media interaction at Spa, Lewis Hamilton shared his perspective on the upgrade, noting he hasn't perceived any substantial differences. With a lighthearted comment, he remarked, "The same as before, the same as the week before." Despite this, Hamilton remains optimistic that Ferrari will successfully optimize this new suspension in the upcoming months. He conveyed a sense of encouragement regarding Ferrari's consistent development efforts, expressing, "I'm sure there's going to be learnings from it." Hamilton acknowledged that while the simulator data shows no immediate improvements, real-world race conditions could reveal benefits across various circuits. He appreciated the new developments, contrasting Ferrari's approach with that of other teams, which often introduce incremental upgrades weekly, like Red Bull and Mercedes. Reflecting on the season, Hamilton noted the importance of ongoing upgrades, recalling a time after the Bahrain race where significant improvements were sparse, causing him to feel skeptical about performance levels. Speaking candidly, he observed, "There are a lot of changes, and then to see the results of those changes takes time," indicating that the team's commitment to innovation is critical as they push for better results. As for Hamilton, he wrapped up his thoughts with gratitude for witnessing the arrival of new components, as this signifies a strong drive from Ferrari's factory. Looking ahead, the F1 community is eager to see how these developments impact not just Ferrari, but the competitive landscape in the races to come. The anticipation builds, and fans remain hopeful for thrilling races ahead, especially with teams like Ferrari continuing to seek improvements to enhance their performance and standing in the championship. Are classic F1 wet races now a thing of the past? Martin Brundle thinks so, and he's demanding answers from the FIA. Brundle feels that the sport's approach to wet weather racing has become overly cautious, particularly after the recent Belgian Grand Prix controversy. He raises a vital question. Are we witnessing a shift from thrilling wet races that have historically captivated fans? The Belgian Grand Prix started under a rain-drenched sky, while leading to a significant delay before the race even began. It took over 80 minutes just for the cars to get going, and once they did, they spent the first 4 laps behind the safety car on intermediate tires. It wasn't long before teams switched to dry tires, raising concerns from drivers about the loss of excitement in wet conditions. Max Verstappen was particularly vocal about his disappointment. He critiqued the decision-making regarding wet race conditions, expressing a longing for the classic wet races that defined F1 in previous years. Reflecting on his own experience where he was ill-prepared for rain at Silverstone, he stated that the current approach feels regrettable for everyone involved. Verstappen shared, "You will never see these classic kinds of wet races anymore, but they are still possible. The rain that fell afterwards was manageable." He emphasizes that the decisions made for wet racing may end up ruining the overall experience of the race. In his column for Sky Sports following the Belgian GP, Brundle echoed Verstappen's concern. He's calling for transparency from the FIA regarding any internal changes that may impact how Formula One handles racing in wet conditions. What's changed? Why the extreme caution? As fans and drivers alike grapple with these questions, it's clear that the excitement and unpredictability that wet races bring to Formula One are at stake. Will the FIA reconsider its approach, or are we on a fast track to a future without those classic rain-soaked races that have thrilled generations of F1 enthusiasts? Stay tuned as we continue to explore how the FIA responds to these demands and whether they will choose to embrace the unpredictable nature of wet racing once again. As discussions swirl around the future of wet racing in Formula One, tensions rise regarding recent race management decisions. With rain on the horizon for the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix, fans are eager to see if the conditions will lead to an exhilarating showdown or yet another cautious approach. Many drivers and fans, including Max Verstappen, have voiced frustrations about race control's tendency to delay starts during wet conditions. Verstappen expressed concern that the race could have initiated much earlier, sparking a broader conversation about the effectiveness and relevance of full wet tires, which seem increasingly neglected in today's racing environment. There are growing questions regarding the FIA's mandates. Are they merely erring on the side of caution, or is there an underlying guideline causing these delays? This situation highlights a critical point in racing. Where does the balance lie between driver safety and the thrill of racing? It's also important to consider how past iconic rainy races have captivated audiences. The intrigue and drama of these events have become somewhat of a rarity, leading many to wonder if we'll be treated to similar excitement in the future. After delays at the Belgian GP, where many shared their disappointment over the long wait, Lewis Hamilton stated that the FIA might have overreacted, suggesting it's time for a shift back to embracing the unpredictable aspects of the sport. Meanwhile, a looming question remains. Will this cautious approach extinguish the spirit of race driving that defines Formula One? As we look ahead, the Italian Grand Prix might offer fans a signature wet racing experience. The forecast hints at unpredictable weather that could add drama to the event, a potential answer for those yearning for classic, unexpected moments in racing history. Be sure to keep an eye on the developments. Why? As we bring you the latest updates and insights on how Formula One navigates the challenges of wet conditions and driver expectations. Will they adapt? Or will the call for more thrilling wet races remain unheard? Only time will tell, and we'll be here to capture every moment. The recent meeting at Mercedes highlighted the team's efforts to address ongoing performance challenges following the Belgian Grand Prix. Senior technical staff, drivers, and team principal Toto Wolff gathered to discuss the current state of affairs, a necessary step as results have dipped since George Russell's victory in Canada. Since that win, Russell has yet to finish higher than 5th place. Meanwhile, his teammate Kimi Antonelli has only crossed the finish line once in recent events. The subdued outcomes have sparked concerns within the team. However, the meeting on Monday was not an emergency forum. It was a standard post-event debrief, but with added weight considering the team's recent struggles. This context is not solely tied to their performance in Belgium, but also reflects the broader state of the season. As the Formula One calendar approaches a critical juncture, teams will face a mandatory 14-day shutdown after the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix, leading into the Dutch Grand Prix at the end of August. This year is anything but typical. With significant new regulations on the horizon for the 2025 season, much of the current car's design will not carry over, compelling teams to shift focus towards future projects. Typically, teams would implement updates deep into the season, but this shift means that Mercedes and others will likely refrain from significant modifications after competing in Hungary. The implications are clear. The competitive landscape is unlikely to change much as teams reallocate resources toward next season's challenge. For Mercedes, this makes it even more essential to maximize their existing package. During their routine meeting, the focus was on strategizing improvements and ensuring the team extracts the most from their current capabilities. This conversation was vital not only for immediate performance, but also as a foundation for the new regulations looming on the horizon. In light of the Belgian GP, Russell voiced his discontent, labeling it his worst performance of the season. His candid reflection emphasizes the frustration felt within the team, particularly as they grapple with making progress while also preparing for substantial changes ahead. The upcoming races will be critical for Mercedes as they seek to stabilize their performance and reassure their fans and stakeholders that they remain contenders on the track, regardless of the looming challenges. As they work to regroup and refocus, all eyes will be on how they adapt in the coming weeks, both on and off the track. Maximum performance on track is key for any F1 team, but lately Mercedes has faced a significant hurdle. Following a disappointing showing in Belgium, a voice of concern echoed through the paddock. "We need to really understand what is going on and why we've taken such a step backwards," said a team representative, emphasizing the necessity of a deep dive into the issues plaguing the car's performance. This week, the team plans a crucial sit-down to dissect their recent struggles. Andrew Shovlin, the Mercedes trackside engineering director, suggested that the problems might stem from upgrades introduced since the Spanish Grand Prix. Reflecting on the season, he noted, "What we had early on in the year was a car that was working well at pretty much every circuit. However, recent performances have left much to be desired." Shovlin admitted that despite the new front wing changes, there are other factors to consider. "It isn't just the front wing that's changed, and I'm sure there's more that we can learn." He was clear that competitors have managed to balance their cars better, hinting at potential solutions for Mercedes. In the case of the technical directive regarding front wing flexibility, Shovlin pointed out, "The TD on the front wing might take you in the wrong direction," yet acknowledged that the persistent instability suggests deeper issues needing attention. The meeting held Monday wasn't just a formality. It was essential for the drivers and technical staff to address concerns raised during the race and strategize for the upcoming Hungarian Grand Prix. While this gathering was not deemed critical, its implications are significant. The current season could easily turn into a long battle towards the finale in Abu Dhabi unless changes are implemented swiftly. Mercedes knows they can't afford to let the season drift. They must harness the results from their discussions to bounce back and regain competitive ground. The stakes are high as every point counts. As fans and analysts eagerly await their next move, the pressure is on Mercedes to evolve and adapt in a fiercely competitive environment. Will they rise to the occasion? Stay tuned as we follow how they navigate the uncertainties ahead.